I wake up early, punch the clock. 8 hours later, still feel stuck. Bills keep climbing, rent's too high. Working full time, barely getting by. I'm just a regular guy, doing my best. No fancy car.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting off on Tinkercad. Welcome back, everyone. This one's gonna be fun. If you're wondering why we're starting on Tinkercad, it's because, well, all I had to do to this truck that I'm working on is paint it, really. The only other major modification to it was that it needs a tag axle, so that's why I'm starting in Tinkercad. I'm building a tag axle. Now, in one of the many photos that I've gotten of the truck, the very rear axle's tires are missing. So I don't know if that's the tag axle or not, but with what little bit of experience I have with big trucks, it's usually the axle in front that is the tag axle. So that's what I'm going to run with. And the reason I'm starting with Tinkercad and not my normal teardown is definitely not because I lost any footage. I may need to start selling bridges. Anyway, a better majority of this build is actually going to be the diorama. You see, a few months ago I actually did another build for Casey from Jackstands and Cinder blocks. It seems that Casey can't do anything small. So when he picked up Clifford, and this is Clifford in its original form, we decided maybe we should try something different. You see, M2 sends out their multi-packs or their bigger transport vehicle sets in long acrylic cases. Our thought was, why not turn one of those into a diorama? Casey gave me carte blanche to do with the diorama as I pleased, so I decided to make it look like a frozen over shop. I know that sounds like a little bit of a cheat, but if you go back into my video archives and look at the mill truck video, you'll see that the photo on the card is actually taken in the wintertime. To me, it only kind of made sense. Well, that's the design done. Let's get it off to the 3D printer, and when we get it back, we'll knock it off the plate and see how they look. Wow, you can't see anything there. I'll have to try to finagle it a little bit so that you can see the detail. Now, to my eye, they look fine. It's obviously not black yet, but I'm going to pass these off to Foggy and let her take care of them. I may have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but man, those look pretty good. I'll check them against the existing axle to see how they look, but generally speaking, I think I did a pretty good job for a first shot. Since I started recording this video, I got a new digital caliper set. That means I can record down to very, very precise measurements. I mean it when I say that I'm very excited about my new calipers. Alright, scale looks good, so I'm going to punch out the axle holes and then pass it off to Foggy. Once these are done, it's time to move on to the next project, which is the actual meat and potatoes of the diorama. Yeah, you see what I'm doing right here? I won't have to do this anymore. I've got a new set of calipers to take care of this. Such a relief. You know what all that measuring means, right? We're headed back into the computer for some more Tinkercad. I don't really have much to say here, folks. Sit back and enjoy the show. Watch me build a shop. Well, the facade of a shop. Although I have been talking to a couple of shops about actually building their shops in 1/64 scale, so you may be seeing that on the channel soon. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with that. I'll knock off all of the supports and clean it up. Maybe take a look at some of these dents before I paint it, but I'm pretty satisfied with how this turned out. I don't like that dent though. I'm not entirely sure why my printer did it. While I mull that over, let's get started on our winter wonderland. First things first though, I definitely don't want to get overspray on Miss Daisy. She'll be headed out to Jamie here this week. You know, one of the many beauties of doing modeling in this scale is that you can use primer for snow. Don't get me wrong though, I'm actually going to be doing a lot more detail than just primer, but well, that's where I'm starting anyway. So you say you want bushes in your 3D printed diorama, but you don't want to actually have to print 3D bushes. How do you take care of that? Well, it's not actually super difficult or anything. All you've really got to do is create some bush type shapes, and once they're 3D printed, throw on some detritus from, say, Woodland Scenics or another model maker company like that. Plus, the fact that we're having this diorama set in the wintertime, it kind of lends itself to being able to hide the crimes a little bit. Yes, hide the crimes is a term in model making. Just ask Adam Savage. You know, it just occurred to me the one thing that I haven't done is check to see if both trucks will actually fit on the diorama. Well, the trucks do indeed fit. I did have a different plan for it though. You see, I was going to put the mill truck on this little trailer here, but even the mill truck is too long. Casey, get some smaller vehicles, dude. Jeez. I know it may not look like it, but I actually did do some pretty careful measurements. I needed to make sure that both Clifford and the mill truck would fit on the diorama, as well as the backing to the diorama fitting under the acrylic. It is, after all, probably going to be a display piece. Alrighty, I think we're far enough along now that we can actually start putting this thing together. First, I'll glue the back and the two wings on. And if you're wondering why I had to create two wings, it's because I didn't want to spend 15 hours printing it, so I printed this horizontally. Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with that. It's a little short, but man, you can't beat that detail. I did notice that this wing was leaning in a little bit, so I'm going to have to fix that before we actually start adding all the other stuff. Well, the bushes and bollards came back, and I gotta say I'm pretty satisfied with these. I could leave them the way they are right now and just call them snow, but I don't know, I'm already cheating enough. Plus, Foggy was really super happy about getting to paint the mailbox and the bollards. Right now, I'm digging around inside my scrap box to find the detritus for the bushes. Now, as I understand it, this is some kind of moss, but in this scale, it's going to look like bushes. I may or may not have left my glue in a frozen shop for too long. Are you starting to see some frozen bushes and snow? 'Cause I am. Of course, to hold everything down, I'll spray everything with a variety of adhesives, but generally speaking, this is done. I've learned from several diorama and crafting channels that if you use clear or even opaque white adhesives, it tends to add a lot to the frozen aesthetic. And no diorama with a truck in it would be complete without some tracks going through the snow. Before we get on to the glamour shots, there's some people I need to thank.
Wake up early, punch the clock. 8 hours later, still feel stuck. Bills keep climbing, rent's too high. Working full time, barely getting by. I'm just a regular guy, doing my best. No fancy car, no high class flex. I work all day, then sigh at the price. Man, life ain't cheap, that ain't right. Coffee's cold, my boots worn thin. Another day, same place I've been. Dreams on hold, but I keep pushing through. What else is a working man supposed to do? I'm just a regular guy.